Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. It is episode number 97. We are on the road to 100, and we are live back in studio for the first time in almost 3 weeks. It's James Espinosa. I'm joined alongside my co-host and producer, Aiden Ducker. Thank you for the applause. He's back there. We have Marcos Marroquin in the building. What's up, Marcos?
What's up, James? Glad to be back in studio. You know, we haven't been here live for a while, so it's good to be back.
It's good to be back with the boys. And speaking of the boys, we have a surprise for the listening audience.
Yeah, boy.
It is Alex Weister in the studio, live in the flesh, right in front of me. My God, the man is in the building.
Actually, hold on. There, that's more appropriate.
He is here. Fitting. Alex, welcome back to the mothership of 1440 Keys.
I'm glad to be back.
Good Lord. It's so great to see him. So this is what happened. All right. Full disclosure, I'm sitting here. I'm in the middle of one of my little Facebook, here's Facebook Live. Everybody pay attention to me. I have a radio show. Come listen to me, blah, blah, blah. And then Alex walks in. And I'm just like, at first I thought it was you, Marcos, and I just kind of looked, I was like, okay, Marcos is here. Cool. That's what's up.
I mean, no disrespect to Marcos.
No disrespect. Yeah. I didn't mean for it to sound like that. I was like, I just thought it was another.
This dude again?
I just thought it was another Sunday, all right, cool, Marcos is here. And I'm like, holy crap, that's Weister. And so Weister is just here, and he's been in town. He's visiting his family, of course, and I knew that already. I knew he was here. I didn't expect you to be here in studio because I thought you were going to fly out, early morning. And we hadn't really had talks of, hey, come on in. I just assumed that you were going to be, flying out back to Dallas this morning.
Nah, I'm typically a guy who'll get into places early and then leave late. That way I can maximize my time. So
efficient.
Yeah.
Very efficient. I like that. Okay. So segment one is supposed to be about the U.S. men's national team, which we will dive into here in a couple of minutes. But since Alex is here in the studio, hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397, 361-882-5397. Hit us up with any of your sports takes all show long. We will be here with you till 11 a.m. Alex, quick catch-up with Weister, right?
Ooh, man.
Catching up with Weister. A lot has happened in your life since you went to Dallas back in, man. What was it, late August, mid-August?
Yeah, it was towards the back end of August. It was it's been quite an interesting past few months, honestly.
So you are at the University of North Texas.
Yes.
To my understanding, you did help out. You have helped out with UNT on volleyball and football games with their broadcast.
I've helped out with their broadcast, running the score bug and running cameras and whatnot. And it wasn't until just a couple of weeks ago where, of course, you know this, but Dave Campbell's came across the table and said, we're going to try and have you call a high school volleyball game. And, of course, I accepted it, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I didn't know much about volleyball at the time, but they said you didn't have to know much. So,
no disrespect to volleyball, but yeah.
I called that game. It was amazing. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they'll have me calling volleyball here for the next couple of weeks.
And then, of course, fast forward a couple of weeks later.
No, literally a week later.
You get to call your first ever Texas high school football game up in Dallas. And it's a playoff game.
Yes, it is.
At that.
And it was one of the best games of that weekend. It was Anna versus Stephenville.
That's great. That's awesome right there. Big claps. Big claps. Let's go. I love it, man. Honestly, just seeing your success over the past few months since you started with us last summer all the way till now, we've known you for close to a year and a half already, and that's kind of crazy to even think about. So Alex Weister is here in studio, repping the University of North Texas, repping Dave Campbell's Texas football. He is awesome, and we are glad to have Alex here with us this morning. 361-882-5397. If you have anything to say towards Alex, you can ask Alex anything. Ask Alex anything if you want to. But we'll be here this morning all the way till 11 o'clock. It's James Espinosa, it's Alex Weister, it's Aiden Ducker, and it's Marcos Marroquin. All right, now that all the excitement has kind of fizzled down a little bit and I'm ready, I'm just amped up, I guess we can dive into the first topic of the day, which is the United States men's national team yesterday They were in battle with the Netherlands. Yes, the Netherlands, also known as Holland, which is very confusing to me.
Yeah.
Very confusing. Holland or the Netherlands, but they go by the Netherlands. And they defeated the United States 3-1. Aiden, here's the first goal that we have from the Netherlands. It was in the 10th minute. It was Memphis Depay, former Manchester United Red Devil. He put the Netherlands up 1-0. Here it is.
In all 3 games in the group stage for the Netherlands. Force wide, Dumfries gets the cross, cut back, and it's a goal for the Netherlands. And it's Memphis who scores it.
And he was just wide open. I mean, let's face facts. Yesterday, the United States, I've been invested, guys, in the United States men's national team, as I always am, each and every World Cup. I've followed this World Cup squad, this program since 2002 when they had the World Cup back in South Korea and Japan, literally getting up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to watch matches. That's how crazy I was as a kid. So they lost 3-1, and it was kind of sad, but at the same time, though, you got to think about this perspective. In 2018, they didn't even make the World Cup.
Yeah.
2022, they get out of the group. They finish second to England. They tie England. They beat Iran in a must-win game to get out of the group stage. And then they give the Netherlands, a decent match. It wasn't their best effort. They lose. But the fact that they even made it to the knockout rounds after not being in the tournament period in 2018, it's a big step, in my opinion, in the right direction for United States men's soccer.
Yeah, and like you said, James, they are moving in the right direction, and they're a young team, and they're going to continue to grow. And honestly, they exceeded a lot of expectations this year. Not many people expected them to be tying with England or to even beat Iran that we saw to leave the group stage and go to the elimination round. And I think in the next year, in 2026, we should be able to see us go a little bit further, keep that push going just a little bit more.
With the U.S. also partially hosting the next World Cup, I feel like that's going to help give them an extra boost in morale and all that. So
yeah, and you look at the roster currently as it's constructed, the way Marcos just mentioned, the average, they were the 3rd youngest roster in the World Cup. I mean, they had literal teenagers playing, 19-year-olds who just turned 20. And I saw a stat out there, most of the core for 2026, 4 years from now, most of the core, starting 11, will be 26 years old, 27 years old at that. Right in the middle of their primes.
Or entering their primes, not even there yet.
That's what I'm saying. So the fact that this young team was able to get to the knockout rounds and... yeah, we all wanted them to win yesterday. I understand. And it's tough when you see them get, pretty much, worked by the Netherlands. But that's just a great team. That's a team that's been there before. They're a superpower. They're one of the elites in soccer. It was just a big learning moment for that United States men's national team. And I'm pretty proud of them. And I think if you're somebody out there who maybe doesn't even pay attention to soccer that much, and maybe the only time you ever watch soccer is every 4 years, and that's totally cool if that's what you do. You can feel a little bit proud about this team and that they looked like they belonged. There's been times in the past where the United States never even looked like they belonged on the field. It looked like
for sure.
It would look like a 2A football team playing against a 5A. I mean, honest,
and
like
they
just being
were a
straight up.
Stock. They are like our men's team was like a laughing stock.
Yeah,
like they were the joke.
Yeah,
everyone was, oh, the women are blah 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 blah. They're out there competing. They're out there winning like these international tournaments and everything, and the men are just, where are they? They weren't any. There was no sort of competition whatsoever.
Since 2002 is really when it turned around, and that's when Landon Donovan and all those guys like Clint Dempsey started to kind of get into the system. So for the past 20 years, they've been steadily improving, steadily been at least in contention, for getting out of the group. Not contention to win it all. I think that's what this generation might be coming up. This is what they are considering the quote-unquote golden generation of USA soccer. And for them having their first round in the World Cup, hey, I'll give them, a solid B effort.
Yeah.
It was a B.
Yeah.
It was an average. It was good. They exceeded expectations, and there we go. So United States does lose yesterday. teams who are still in it, right? We have Argentina. They did win yesterday.
Yeah.
Messi.
Not an Argentina fan at all.
Messi with the goal.
I'm so happy for him. Finally having his moment.
I want Messi or Ronaldo to win the World Cup because they've never won it before.
Ronaldo I like a little better than Messi, but no.
No?
No, not either.
Who are you cheering for?
Who's
like left to cheer for?
I like this Netherlands team, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like them. Well, I was rooting for Belgium.
What about France?
Nah, they already won the last World Cup. I'm not rooting for them either.
Would you ever root for England?
I like England.
I kind of do low-key like England because I would like for them to bring it home. Bring it home!
I do like England. That would be good for...
Spain? Anybody? Spain in here?
Spain.
Nah.
No?
My ancestors.
South Korea?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Japan's
a good story.
They've been playing really good. I'm rooting for Japan.
Okay. So today there's a couple of matchups today. We got France and Poland who are actually playing right now. It's 0-0 in the 15th minute.
I expect France to win that one with how Poland seems to be playing kind of lackluster.
And then at 1 p.m. it's England versus Senegal. So those are the matches for today.
Oh, I like Croatia because I've always been a Luka Modric kind of guy.
Yeah.
So Croatia too.
Croatia. I like Croatia. So there we go. That's our World Cup talk for this morning. Alex Weister is in the building. So if you have anything to say to Alex, hit us up on the text line 361-882-5397. It's also Cowboys and Colts game day. Sunday Night Football tonight. We'll have pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7:30 right here on News Talk KEYS. Let us know who do you think is going to win today's Cowboys and Colts matchup. I am excited today. I got thrown off a little bit. I'm trying to regain my bearings. I cannot believe we are all reunited once again, but I knew this day would come, and we are about to kick into commercial break. Coming up next, it's our Texas two-step. The Rangers and the Astros both made some moves in free agency. We'll dive into what that means for both franchises after the break. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush News Talk KEYS, episode number 97, on the road to 100. It's James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister with you this morning all the way till 11 a.m. Make sure you guys register the entire family for the Reindeer Run 5K Corpus Christi, benefiting Bikes for Kids Corpus Christi, and presented by Mattress Firm South Texas. It's happening next Saturday, December the 10th, at Brewster Street Ice House downtown, 8 a.m. For more information and registration, go to www.reindeerruncorpus.com.
That is this Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, this Saturday. I forgot.
This first Saturday.
This coming up Saturday on December the 10th. So make sure you get out there. The Reindeer Run. Going to be a fun time for everybody involved. Obviously, helping out a great organization, Bikes for Kids Corpus Christi. Okay, so we're in here. 361-882-5397. Let me hit the text line real quickly because George D hit us up. George D is in here. George says, good morning, gentlemen. Happy 97. Great to hear you live. We really look forward to Sunday morning and your special guest, Mr. Alex. Still proud of our USA soccer team and their guts and love for our country. Have a great show. Rock on, guys. Signed, George D. Thank you, George. Appreciate you, man. Yeah.
Thank you, George.
Feel good about that. Thank you for shouting us out and shouting out Alex. And, of course, to the U.S. men's soccer team, here's a toast of morning coffee to you. Here's a toast to you this morning. All right, guys. So we're in here this morning. Let's go ahead and let's talk some Major League Baseball real quickly because a couple of teams in Texas, the Rangers and Astros, made some moves over this past week. And we'll start with the Rangers.
The bigger one.
We'll start with the Rangers. Well, we got to give the Rangers some love every now and then.
Let's go, baby.
The Astros already won the World Series. The Astros can't take up too much shine.
Yeah.
So here's what the Rangers did this past week. They signed two-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom. He agreed to a 5-year, $185 million contract with the Texas Rangers. This is obviously bringing one of the more talented pitchers in baseball to a pitching-starved organization that the Rangers have been for the past few years. And the Rangers are making it's another offseason of investments for the Rangers. We saw what they did last year with Seager and with Simeon, and now they're bringing in DeGrom. So Chris Young, who's now the new general manager and baseball operations head person, he's doing a fantastic job of trying to bring in guys. They brought in Bruce Bochy already. I mean,
Mike Maddox, the pitching coach.
Yeah, Maddox,
one
exactly.
One of the best in baseball.
Can't ever forget that, how important pitching coaches and position coaches are. The Rangers are making some moves here. Now, the only thing that I have a little bit of issue with this signing is DeGrom and his history of injuries. I mean, that's a lot of money and a lot of years to give a guy who only threw 64 and a half innings in 2022.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were shocked at this move. Like, a lot of the insiders and a lot of, like, the beat writers and the reporters and everything, they were really surprised because they thought it was going to have a high AAV, which is basically a whole lot of money and in a short year, like short time frame, you know, like a 2 year, like similar to what Max Scherzer got in New York, where they just give him a whole lot of money in a very short time period. But they gave him the 5-year deal, even though he's 35 years old. But when Jacob DeGrom is healthy, he is the most talented pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
He had the highest strikeout to 9 percentage. So every 9 innings, he strikes out the most batters and the least amount of walks. When this guy's healthy, he's absolutely filthy. You can't touch him. He's the best in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally, you know, if you say he's healthy and Bruce Bochy's the manager that he's supposed to be, you know, when he won 3 World Series with the Giants, I could totally see the Rangers taking the second spot in the division.
I could see it too.
Wow, challenging the Mariners?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Well, their like speculative rotation right now would be Jacob DeGrom, Martin Perez, John Gray, Jake Odorizzi, and then
that's right.
Dane Dunning, Glenn Otto, like some other guys in
How's
the
their
AAA
bullpen,
system that
how's
they're probably
their
going to call
looking?
up trash.
Okay, that's going to be a major Achilles heel.
Yeah, the bullpen's going to need to be situated at some point.
Yes, but that is like they made it very clear and obvious that is their main point that they're trying to emphasize this year in the offseason, and they already signed the best guy on the market. I heard that they're still in the talks for Carlos Rodon, actually.
I've heard
Yankees.
I've heard Carlos Rodon and Justin Verlander could be in the mix for the Rangers as well, that the Rangers do have a little bit more money to play with, and they could shore up that starting pitching rotation even more. I doubt Verlander goes. I could see Rodon going to the Rangers, but
I could as well.
There's a lot of options right there. We're still early on in hot stove season, as they like to say, but I'm impressed with what the Rangers have done. And, you know, if the Rangers become competitive and good, I won't be mad at that because I like a good Astros-Rangers rivalry. It's good for the sport. It's good for the state of Texas. And those games will be a lot more fun to watch than what we've seen over the past few seasons. So, Marcos and all the Rangers fans out there, feel excited. It's your time to shine, baby. The off-season is your time to shine. Not the regular season, just the off-season.
Well, we just dump all of our money.
Off-season champs. Off-season champs 2021 and 2022 coming up. So there we go. Next news item in free agency. The Astros signed former American League MVP Jose Abreu to a contract, and now Abreu is an Astro big-time slugger. He hit 304, 378, and 446 last year for the White Sox. This dude's slash line was ridiculous. The deal is expected to pay $19.5 million per year or $58.5 million in total, according to sources with Fox 26. It is a 3-year deal for Jose Abreu. Thoughts on the deal, Aiden? I know you're a big-time Astros fan, just like me. Your thoughts on the Astros signing the 35-year-old to this contract?
And I do feel like the money is a tad bit too high, but at the same time, this shows to me that Jim Crane he's not complacent. And that's one thing that hurts teams that, you know, win championships at times. Although it's hard to win one, but, like, teams that get kind of complacent, they'll, you know, like the Nationals, like, they got it, they're, you know. I don't want to talk about that, but anyway, yeah, Jim Crane, he's the new George Steinbrenner. He wants to win at all costs, and this is the type of mentality that's going to keep the Astros winning for years to come.
So what this potentially means, though, for the Astros, ladies and gentlemen, is Yuli Gurriel might pretty much be gone. He might leave. He's a free agent. I doubt they bring him back unless he wants to come back on a cheap deal and be a rotational type of guy.
Yeah, I heard they want to bring him back as a rotational guy, but it's up to him if he wants to be a starter somewhere else or if he wants to, keep on winning.
Yeah, finish out his career maybe as a backup, you DH every now and then, but this is a hell of a move, man. I mean, Abreu hit 30 home runs last year, had a 4.2 WAR, 75 RBI, 85 runs total, 40 doubles. I mean, this dude is an all-around just beast. And in Minute Maid Park, Alex, that short porch in left field, he should be able to take advantage of that pretty well.
Yeah, especially if Gurriel is to leave, he'd fill in that spot perfectly.
What were your thoughts? We haven't really talked to you baseball too much this year. The Astros World Series champs, man. I know you were following that pretty intently, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I mean, around UNT, there really wasn't that much going on about that. It was
because it's a Rangers.
Because that's a Ranger city.
Kind of quiet there.
Yeah,
so
it's a Ranger city up there, man.
There was definitely a couple of them in the DCTF headquarters, though. So there was definitely a little more talk about it in there.
Nice. And also another note for the Astros is that they are rumored to still be in the running for catcher Wilson Contreras and outfielder Cody Bellinger. Those are two names that have been rumored to the Astros. Now, this is one thing I got to say about Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger has talked a lot of crap about the Astros the past few seasons with the Dodgers.
Well deserved.
Yeah, okay, whatever. You can say well deserved. That's a shot across the bow.
You know what else is well deserved? Marcos, Nelson Cruz forgetting how to catch a fly ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you
continue.
know what? That's a decade ago.
So,
that.
So Cody Bellinger possibly coming to the Astros. Now, I will say this, just thinking rationally and logically, he could be the starting center fielder.
No, he couldn't.
I think he
really
could.
shouldn't be.
He's
had a very rough couple years.
Here's the thing: the Astros coaching staff and development are probably the best in baseball. I could see them getting a little bit of production out of Bellinger, kind of revitalizing his confidence and whatnot. I don't think he'd be the MVP he used to be. I think that road's gone, but I think he could be a 250 guy that hits 20 dingers and whatnot.
Imagine him in center field, him and Chas McCormick rotating every now and then.
No, but Bellinger also he's also utility. He could play at first base as well.
Exactly.
I mean, the last 3 seasons he's averaged 239, 165, and 210.
I just think he needs to get out of LA. I think the ship has sailed for him there. The new change of scenery. And he'll be humble too if he's an Astro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna come into that locker room, that clubhouse.
But here's the thing with the Astros that Jose Altuve and those guys, they're gonna welcome him with open arms. Jose Altuve is one of the most humble players out there. They're not gonna let this animosity affect them by any means. It's all about winning time.
I mean, the fact that they're even discussing Cody Bellinger's name out loud and in public, I mean, that has to say something to how the locker room already feels about the possibility.
But Jim Crane doesn't care. If he feels like he'll help them win, he'll sign him.
Oh, for sure.
Wilson Contreras, another name. Our thoughts on Wilson Contreras?
That's probably most people are saying that's the prediction that the Astros are going to get Wilson Contreras.
Just imagine. That is insane.
He's a great guy.
If you had Abreu and Contreras.
And if Cody Bellinger just kind of gets revitalization a little bit.
Like, this has the potential to be an insane lineup if
it already is.
All things fall the way they look like they're falling.
Bullpen is still intact. The only loss that's going to happen, is Verlander, but Hunter Brown has shown promise.
Dare I say dynasty?
I mean,
it's looking like it's getting there for sure. If it's not there already, it's looking like it's going to get there.
If you make these kind of moves like this and bring these type of guys in, it just shows, like Aiden's been saying, Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros, and how much he wants to continue to win.
Yep.
And I don't know, it could be scary season, scary hours for the rest of the American League if the Astros do sign these guys. So we'll see what happens. That's some Major League Baseball talk for you right there. Coming up next, we will have some college football chaos because TCU lost yesterday and Deion Sanders is going to Colorado. We'll talk all that and more. Who should be in the college playoffs? We'll talk that after the break. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush News Talk KEYS. It's James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister. Weister's making an in-studio visit this morning. He's down from Denton from the DFW on a little break here. And we're glad to have Alex with us. We're glad to have you with us this morning. 361-882-5397. That's the number to get your takes into the text line. We're talking all the sports all the time because that is what we do on the Sunday Sports Rush. In about 10 minutes, we will have WTF. You're not going to want to miss this one. Cocaine and bears. Cocaine Bear.
Man, I feel like that movie, it resonates with what I value truly within myself.
We will just dissect everything about Cocaine Bear in WTF and more, so keep it locked to that here in about 10 minutes' time. All right. We're here this morning, and yesterday was College Football Saturday. And it was Championship Saturday at that. Actually, it started on Friday night. Friday night is when it all started off, and that's when the first domino got rolling. Because USC faced Utah in the Pac-12 championship game. Utah came into this game number 11, USC number 4. USC was looking like they were, on the road to the college football playoff if they were to win this game. They blew it. Absolutely blew it. Utah whoops their arse. 47-24 out in Las Vegas. Cam Rising of Utah threw for 310 yards, had 3 touchdowns. Caleb Williams of USC played really well. Had a few Heisman-type highlights, Heisman-type moments. 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 really bad interception. But he was hobbled. His hamstring was hurt. You could tell watching the game, he just didn't look right. He wasn't moving right. And he became virtually one-dimensional in the second half of the game where he wasn't able to rush as effectively as he should have been. And at the same time, he wasn't getting helped out by his defense. The defense of USC gave up 533 yards to Utah.
Yeah, it's hard to win when you do that.
Yeah, I think that's not a winning recipe. And so Utah now wins back-to-back Pac-12 titles. Back-to-back years. They're going to be going to the Rose Bowl. And USC will now, I don't know, they'll wait their fate later on today when they make all the bowl selections.
And I know it's not going to happen, but as far as I've seen, all of Saints social media has their sights set on Caleb Williams for next year's draft.
I would definitely love to have Caleb Williams.
It's not going to happen. I just know it's not, but hey, at least we got something to look forward to because we don't have our pick this year.
You got something to keep your eyes on at least, and Caleb Williams would be a fine quarterback for any franchise out there.
I like how you look over to the Texans fan here.
I know.
I would love Caleb Williams to be on the
Can
Texans.
you handle Davis Mills for another year?
Well, he's not the starter anymore, so couldn't tell.
Kyle
you.
Allen.
All right.
It doesn't matter who.
All right, I had to take a little break. What did I miss?
We're talking about how USC blew it the other night.
Oh, a typical Lincoln Riley team. They know how to score, but he can't find a defensive coaching staff worth a lick, and his defensive players don't know the concept of tackling.
You're right. They gave up over 500 yards on defense.
There was 2 plays where it was just I think the best Texas high school teams could tackle better than what I saw.
I mean, there was 2 plays that were just straight up comical on how the Utah receiver / running back was able to break literal.
I've never seen
4
so much
or 5 tackles.
I've never seen so much yak yardage. Giving up on broken tackles.
It was crazy. So USC blew their chance. Now, moving on to yesterday, the big game of the day, the game that I watched from first snap to last snap was number 10 Kansas State versus number 3 TCU for the Big 12 championship. Oh, my goodness. This game.
That was amazing.
This game had all the makings, man. TCU was down at halftime 14-10. They were down in the fourth quarter by 11 points. They make a comeback. They tie the game. They send it to overtime. There's a big 3rd and 4th down at the goal line in overtime for TCU. They could not convert. Couple of running back handoffs. They didn't try at all a quarterback sneak, what quarterback Max Duggan.
On the half-yard line?
They didn't try one at all. And then they get stuffed. Next possession happens, and Kansas State kicks the game-winning field goal. TCU loses. It's their first loss of the season. But now the question comes into play.
Stop.
And
No.
it's been happening all over social media.
No, it's not. It's just Bama fans wanting.
It really is. It's a huge conversation.
I've been talking about it. All the national talking heads are talking about it. Does TCU miss the playoff with this loss? And will Alabama take their spot? It's a two-part question. I'll go with Alex first.
Here's what I'll say. Will they? Yes. Should they? No. Because that's just how the committee works. They look at these teams who aren't the blue bloods like the Ohio State and the Bamas, and they just watch them and wait for them to slip up. The most minor thing could happen, and they will drop them out of the top 4 and not let them into the playoffs. It happens. That's just how it goes.
So you're saying you could see Alabama totally getting in over TCU?
Absolutely, because that's just how the committee works.
What about you, Marcos?
I 100% see it as well. But I think that TCU did do themselves a favor by coming back in this game and pushing it to overtime.
Yes.
If they get blown out by 2 scores or 2 touchdowns, no, it's Alabama all the way.
That's what I was saying in the group text yesterday. I kept on saying TCU cannot get blown out. They got to avoid the blowout.
Y'all don't know y'all's history, huh?
Oh, well, enlighten us.
2020 Notre Dame got their butts absolutely whipped by Clemson in the ACC title game. The committee still chose them over a one-loss Texas A&M team.
What was Clemson ranked?
Clemson made the playoff, but
exactly.
But Notre Dame beat Clemson earlier in the season. That's what they used because TCU beat Kansas State earlier in the season.
Yes, but Kansas State was not a playoff team. They were number 10.
So here's
and then last year Georgia absolutely get destroyed by Alabama ACC title game. They still let Georgia in. I mean, why should TCU get penalized for losing a close game?
Do you know why they would get penalized? Because their name is TCU and not Alabama.
That's not going to matter.
The only reason why it would.
Y'all are creating a debate for nothing.
Now,
TCU is going to be in the playoff.
Listen. What the committee's going to do is this also. They're going to go TCU versus Georgia. They're going to say, okay, what's a better matchup? They're probably going to say Georgia beats TCU by 14 points. They're going to say Georgia versus Alabama in the semifinal. What's the better matchup? They're going to say that's the better matchup. They're going to say that's going to get more eyeballs.
Y'all are so wrong on this.
No,
it's not even funny.
Listen, and one thing that everybody out there who's listening to the show and y'all guys in here in the studio needs to realize, follow the money. It's not that hard to see this coming from a mile away.
It's not going to happen.
Look, I don't know why you're so against it because I think
it's not happening. I don't know, you guys. I don't get y'all.
Happen. I mean,
it's not gonna. Y'all are creating debate. There's already. Y'all are creating. This is.
Hold up.
Let's all calm down.
I understand logically how it doesn't make any sense.
Who has Alabama beaten this year?
Texas.
They beat an 8-4 Texas, and they beat. Okay.
They beat Texas.
They lost to a 4-loss LSU team. They have to, Alabama has 2 losses, right? They don't have 1 loss. They got 2.
They got 2. Now look, here's the playoff resume comparison. Okay, let me just do this real quickly. TCU's 12-1, Alabama's 10-2. TCU is 2-1 versus college football top 25 teams. Alabama is 2-2 versus those top 25 teams. The best win on TCU's resume is number 10, Kansas State. The best win on Alabama's resume is at number 20, Texas.
Alabama lost to an LSU team, 4-loss LSU team.
But they only lost by a combined 4 points.
They didn't
get blown out.
Why, Tennessee, and why is Tennessee ranked over Alabama?
And that loss was on the road. In a
Stop trying to make a case for Bama.
Okay.
There are 2 things I want to point out.
Don't use the Vegas stuff. They'll be better because Alabama was favored by over a touchdown against LSU and Tennessee. So don't use the Vegas argument. They can still lose.
So to the point of you saying that Bama's going to bring in more money, I would argue that TCU being in the playoffs is going to be a lot more interesting to other people, and they'll want to watch that more because they know they've seen what Alabama is. They know what they're about. Seeing a new team, I think, is going to draw more eyes.
And that makes sense. Yeah, no, new team in there, fresh blood. I get all that.
And on to the other point I wanted to make. They weren't even in their conference title game. I don't think you should be in the playoffs if you didn't make your conference title game.
And let me be honest, I don't like Ohio State backdooring in their way in as well, but they only have 1 loss.
That's USC's fault.
I know.
Yeah, that's completely USC's
But TCU
fault.
actually competed. There's a difference.
Yes.
Look, I understand how logically.
If TCU got blown out, then I would accept y'all's possibility.
For sure.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Marcos.
and I understand how logically you're so against Alabama getting in because they really shouldn't.
They've been mid all year against good teams.
They have.
Or against,
You're right. They shouldn't make it, but they're Alabama, and they just might because they're Alabama, and people want to see Alabama versus Georgia.
Nobody wants to see Alabama versus Georgia outside of the SEC.
The TV ratings.
We got Edward in here on the text line 361-882-5397. Edward's chiming in. Edward says it's all about the money. Ratings pay the bills.
But here's the thing.
But that's a committee. They're not being.
Yes, but I would argue that a new team in TCU that we have not seen will bring in more money and more eyes.
But y'all got to realize there's not just SEC reps in these committees. There's reps by all the other conferences as well. So they're not gonna bow down to the SEC.
Let's go around the table here and let's just get a quick consensus. All right, Aiden, who's gonna be your playoff 4 right now?
Right now, it's gonna be Georgia, Michigan. I don't know about TCU or Ohio State if they're gonna flip-flop them. I feel like it should stay like that. Brett McMurphy, a well-renowned college football reporter, he releases AP poll. He still has TCU at number 3.
Okay. So you think TCU, Ohio State round out your top 4?
Yeah. There's a lot of high-end reporters saying that TCU there is not expected to drop.
Marcos, what is your top 4?
I would like it to be Georgia,
Michigan.
Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But I could really see Alabama slipping in there just because that's what it seems like happens in the college football playoffs.
Okay. Alex, what about you?
I have Georgia, Michigan, TCU drop to 4, and then Ohio State jumps up to 3.
Okay. I do like that scenario. I think what is going to happen in the end is it's going to be Georgia, it's going to be Michigan, it's going to be Ohio State, and at number 4 today.
Stop, James.
At number 4 today,
James, you got to stop,
is going to be
man.
TCU.
Oh.
It'll be
would
TCU.
Painful to see Bama in that 4 spot,
Dude,
and all
it's
4
gonna
of
create,
those major teams.
It's going to create such a crap storm if they let Bama go in. They'll lose their credibility.
There will be a major change in the committee if Bama's to make it.
361-882-5397.
It's like, do losses matter anymore if you're going to let a 2-loss Bama team in over a 1-loss TCU?
361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line. Let us know, who do you think is going to make the college football playoff? Should TCU stay in? Should Alabama take TCU's spot? That is the question of the day.
And one more thing. If Bama only had 1 loss, say they win at Tennessee or say they beat LSU, then it's okay. Then I could see that really happening, that they'll slide Bama in. But you got 2 losses, man, over 1. And the schedules are kind of, in terms of strength of schedule, kind of even. And Kansas State is a better team than any team Bama's beaten.
Final word belongs to Alex this segment. Go ahead, Alex.
And if we're going to say that losses matter that much, why do we say wins matter that much? Why don't we just take USC and TCU out and put in Utah and Kansas State? If we're going to say that losses matter that much.
Well, because Utah and Kansas State lost 3 games.
Well, in a couple of years, whenever the playoffs expand to 12,
they would be in a regardless.
Utah and Kansas State would have made the playoffs because they won their conference.
Higher seedings too.
Yep.
That's why I can't wait for the 12-team playoff, because with the NIL, it seems that the teams are more balanced and whatnot. And so we don't even have to deal with this. Bama's in, fine.
And this year, the playoffs
fine.
would have been really good looking at the top 12.
I know. It would have been great, but that's in a couple of years' time.
I mean, outside of Georgia, and I guess you could say Michigan too, like, all the other teams, like, they could beat each other.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's going to wrap up our college football discussion. If you got any college football hot takes out there, hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Will TCU lose their spot to Alabama today when the committee releases their final college football playoff top 4? What's going to happen? Hit us up, 361-882-5397. We're going to take a break from the sports real quickly, and we're going to dive right into some WTF. What happens when a bear ingests cocaine? Well, we have that and more in WTF coming up. Keep it locked to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush News Talk KEYS. With you till 11 a.m. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll make our NFL picks for week number 13 at 10:30 in the second hour. We'll have Quinton Martinez of the Caller-Times to talk some Texas high school football with us. Don't forget, it's also a Dallas Cowboys game day. 6:30 pregame and 7:30 kickoff right here on News Talk KEYS. Cowboys versus Colts. on Sunday Night Football. James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister with you this morning. We just had a contentious debate about the college football playoff, the top four. Should TCU keep their spot? Will Alabama take their spot based on what happened yesterday up in Jerry World, TCU's overtime loss to Kansas State? What's going to happen? Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Deion Sanders is going to Colorado. That's going to be awesome right there. Just wanted to kind of throw that in real quick before we talk some WTF. Deion Sanders, it's official. Last night they announced, Colorado's athletic director announced that Deion Sanders will be taking over the job in Boulder. He'll be the Colorado Buffaloes' new head coach. 3 seasons with Jackson State University, 2 SWAC championships. They just won a title yesterday. But it is now official, ladies and gentlemen. Deion Sanders will be the head coach at Colorado. Anybody have thoughts on that?
I wish all the best for Deion Sanders. Hopefully things work out. I kind of still don't like Colorado and being in the Pac-12, but hopefully he gets them to being competitive.
Yeah.
Again and whatnot. So
I like the move. I think what he did at Jackson State was phenomenal. He went 26-5 the last 3 seasons, 22-2 in the past 2 years. He's brought that program to national prominence, I'd say. I mean, he brought a number 1 overall recruit there. He's getting new facilities built there. But the reality of the situation was he wasn't going to stay there forever, and he was going to take a Power 5 job sooner than later, and he took one with Colorado.
And another big hire, Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin.
That is a big one for
Thoughts
your
on
Wisco boys right here.
Oh,
That's a big
Massive
one right there.
gift for us.
Matt Rule also went to Nebraska.
Nobody cares about that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, he's a good college. He's
a good
shown that he's been a good
coach, but it's
college coach.
Nebraska.
Tom Herman is now at Florida Atlantic. Anybody cares about that?
Let's go.
Let's just go with all right, let's go to WTF
All
already.
right. So one quick final note here. I hope Deion does well at Colorado, and if he were to turn around that program, then one of these big time colleges will probably come knocking at his door here in the next few years. All right. So shout out to Deion Sanders, Coach Prime doing his thing. Let's go to WTF.
What the F-bomb is going on?
Yeah, that's what the F I'm talking about.
What the f*** is that? Who are you? What is wrong with you?
All right.
Oh,
so
man, I'm excited.
WTF. We are here. It's everybody's favorite segment where we dive off the trail of sports into the pop culture, entertainment, sometimes even the weird conspiracy stuff from time to time. It's WTF. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Guys, have y'all heard about this movie, Cocaine Bear?
No, I haven't.
He's the only one in here who hasn't.
It's supposed to be released February 24th, 2023. So coming up here in a couple of months, Cocaine Bear will hit theaters. It is described as a thriller and based on true events. Here's the synopsis.
Well, it's supposed to be a comedy, dark comedy / thriller.
There we go. So here's the synopsis of Cocaine Bear, the movie. After a failed drug smuggling operation, a black bear ingests a large amount of cocaine and goes on a drug-fueled rampage. So there we go.
Watch this movie.
Director is Elizabeth Banks. That's pretty awesome. It stars the late, great Ray Liotta.
It's going to be one of his final films.
Wow.
I don't know if you brought it up, and I don't know if Marcos knows this. It's based off a true story.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's inspired. It's the true story was like the whole you had people dumping cocaine into the woods. That was true.
Yeah.
But what's not true is that the actual bear that ate the cocaine died minutes later.
Oh, geez, for real?
Wait, that's the real story?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the real story.
The bear,
okay.
all that coke, the bear ate a bunch of cocaine, more that could probably kill a human I don't know.
But the title of the movie was a real thing. There was a cocaine.
There was a coked out
Yeah,
bear.
a bear actually ate cocaine.
I really want to watch this movie. I feel like
Well,
it's so dumb that it's just going to be hilarious.
We do have audio from the trailer of the movie. So radio is theater of the mind. So put yourself in a nice headspace here and just imagine, this bear in the woods attacking people. Here is a quick audio clip of Cocaine Bear. Go ahead, Aiden.
A lot of cocaine was lost. I need you to go and get it. No, don't eat that, don't eat that. Let's see what kind of effect that has on you.
The bear.
fucking did cocaine. A bear did cocaine.
Apex predator. High on cocaine. Out of its mind.
As Martin Scorsese says, this is cinema.
An apex predator high on cocaine.
You know, the actual trailer, I was like, oh, this movie's going to be so bad it's good. But I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, this actually looks good. Like, I see, you know, Elizabeth Banks, she's a comedic person, and she's done films before in this matter that are good. Ray Liotta, before he died, he was in an interview saying that he was proud of the film.
Wow. Alex, go ahead.
So I'm looking up some more here. The Kentucky for Kentucky Fun Mall has the stuffed taxidermied remains of the cocaine bear.
So Cocaine Bear is still out there.
Yes.
He's stuffed.
And they have given
being remembered.
They have given it the name of Pablo Escobar.
Whoa, Pablo Escobar.
Wow, that's a great name. That is a great name.
What about I'll give that 5 out of 5 on the name. Pablo Escobar. That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff.
And the bag contained 88 pounds.
He ate 88 pounds of coke.
He didn't eat all of it, but when they got there, it was
he's a
ripped
half
open
standard?
and he was just he was gone.
What do you think the bear thought that was? Maybe just like some sugar,
Yes, because
flour.
they really, really like sweet stuff. I would know this because I grew up
Good
in
Lord.
With the bear?
Well, no,
Why
I
would
grew up in Wisconsin, and we would feed bears. We'd just go into the woods and fill a hollowed-out log with candy.
Wait, because my mind just went into hypnosis. You just said that you would purposely feed bears.
Yes, my grandparents and I we'd go out. We'd go out on our four-wheelers out into the woods, find out a hollowed-out stump, and pour like expired candy into it. And we'd have like a cam, and we could see the bears eating the candy.
Aren't y'all not allowed to do that? Like,
What?
Isn't
I
that the
don't
most like Florida thing you've ever heard?
But this is Wisconsin.
It's very actually it's very Wisconsin. Yeah.
So,
wow.
The reason why I bring that up is because yes, he probably thought it was something.
Some kind of sugary candy, sweet.
And very quickly found out I am not eating the correct thing.
yeah, it gave him a damn heart attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
man.
Speaking of heart attacks, Ray Liotta was in here.
Wow.
So, like Aiden mentioned, it was his last movie or
What
one
a
of his last
pivot.
movies.
Yeah.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s in here. Ice Cube's son.
He's got
He's
to
a
be
good
known.
actor.
He plays a decent role in here.
There's some IKEA TikToker that's in it too.
Is it that Scott Sace?
I think.
He's like a comedian, I guess, a TikTok
we
comedian.
haven't even talked about the monks that were on that.
Well, I mean, I know, but we just kind of got lost in the
we got
cocaine bear.
We got like a minute.
It's fine. We don't got to do the cocaine monks, but
Long
Okay, well,
story
basi-
short,
yeah.
a bunch of monks got kicked out of a temple because they were all high on meth.
Yeah. So it basically Breaking
Well,
Bad.
they're really
monks.
zen, like Aaron Rodgers.
You know, I found out
don't
from
know about
this.
that one.
You know, I found this story out and I sent it to James and Alex from the writer and producer, one of the writers and producers of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And Better Call Saul. That's how I found it out.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, these dudes were just meth out,
Apparently.
and they're monks. I thought monks are supposed to be like real pure.
Well, nobody's gonna. They're deep in the mountains, so they probably thought nobody would find them.
Doing
Yeah.
ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I guess so. So there we go. That's WTF. Cocaine Bear, the movie. We're all excited for that. We should all go see that together. I think that'd be
down.
fun.
I'm down, man.
That'd be a fun little sports rush field trip. And yeah, some monks were on meth. So there we go. That's WTF right there. And that wraps up hour number 1. Coming up in hour 2, leading things off, we're going to do some NFL pick'em. Alex Weister's in the building. Marcos Marroquin's here. Aiden Ducker's here. And of course, I'm here. Make sure you keep it locked to the Sunday Sports Rush. We got one more hour with you. Stick around. We'll be right back. Good morning, Corpus Christi Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. Welcome on into hour number 2 of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I'm your host, James Espinosa. It is episode number 97. We're on the road to 100, and it is coming up very, very soon. Aiden Ducker is with me behind the glass, producing and co-hosting. We also have Marcos Marroquin in studio, and our special guest this morning, a part of Sports Rush 2.0. It is Alex Weister, all the way down from Denton, visiting Corpus Christi this weekend. Alex, what is up?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back in.
Yeah, glad to have you back. It's awesome. Sports Rush 1.0 started with just Aiden and myself.
Yeah.
And then 2.0 was me, you, and Aiden. And 3.0 is me, Aiden, and Marcos. So
That could be 2 years.
we have, it's going to be 2 years exactly a month from now. On January the 4th will be our 2-year anniversary of doing this little fun show on a Sunday.
Oh, I forgot to put my signature second hour sounder.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
There we go. There we go. He loves them. He loves them. He loves them. All right. So we're coming up on our 2 years, and things are fun. You know, we love doing this, and it's always a good time to be on air with friends and have you guys listening to us each and every weekend. So we're going to kick off hour number 2. We're going to do some NFL pick'em because at 10:30 coming up, we'll have Quinton Martinez of the Caller-Times. He's going to call in and help us break down last night's Veterans Memorial and PSJA North matchup. And he's going to help us just break down a bunch of Texas high school football. So that's coming up at 10:30. But right now, it is NFL Pick'em. And let's get to the latest standings. After 2 weeks off air, this is how the standings look because we still make picks off air.
Oh, God.
I'm in the lead with 50 wins. 50-34 on the season. I went 6-2 last week, and I nailed my upset pick of the Steelers. I got the Steelers upset pick over the Colts. Nailed it. Boom. So I have 50 wins. Alex, you're in second place with 47 wins. You went 4-2 last week. Aiden's in third place with 46 wins. He went 4-2 last week. And Marcos, you
Don't talk about it.
you went 1-5 last week.
I'm below 500. It's
And you're
embarrassing.
26-27. That is correct. You're below 500. You went 1-5 last week, man.
That was tough. There was a lot of unexpected things.
It was very tough for you last week. Go ahead, Alex.
So I would like to say we haven't put any stipulations on the table for this year.
Oh, no, we
Because
haven't.
I will say I will be in town for the final week.
Okay.
So I'm just saying I am in town for the final week.
Just lunch.
That's
Oh man, you know what? If Cocaine Beer came out earlier, I would. The winner should pay for everybody's tickets. But-
Okay.
if we can. So I'll be down here Valentine's Day week.
Yes.
Oh, that's when
weekend.
it comes out.
So if we want to try and squeeze it in, then I can do that. That's if I'm to end up losing.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, how about this? Let's just make it real simple and easy. Loser has to pay for the other people's like lunch or something.
So pretty much what we did last year.
Yeah, what we did last
Gotcha.
year. Lunch, that'd be great,
All
or
right.
dinner, etc., etc.
That works.
We're good with that? We're good with that? You're good with that?
Yeah.
Marcos is going to be excluded because he hasn't been picking with us since the beginning.
He can tag along and pay for himself.
Yeah, you could come with us. You could come with us because you haven't been picking since the beginning, all right? I saw the look on Marcos's face. He's like, I'm going to lose
scared.
no matter what. All right, so here we go. Let's pick some games. First game up on the docket, we got the Steelers 4-7 at the Falcons 5-7. This one, the line just changed. Pittsburgh is a 1-point favorite on the road in Atlanta. Let's go around the table. Marcos, who do you got?
Give me the Steelers.
Steelers, easy? All right. So
Not easy, but I like their defense back with TJ Watt.
Okay.
He's gonna be getting more healthy and more in tune with everything.
I liked what I saw last week from, oh man, why is it slipping my mind? Quarterback, Pickett, and
He's looked a lot better.
Yeah, I liked what he saw. I liked what I saw against the Colts, and then of course Pickens is also doing very well. So I like that. I'm gonna go with the Steelers as well. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm going to ride with the Steelers based on the fact I might have to ride with Pickens as my flex in fantasy this week.
There we
Based
go.
on the fact that Debo is a game time decision, so I'm not risking that. I also think that the Steelers defense is just going to come up big time compared to the Falcons defense. So, and then that kind of cancel each other out. Go down to offense. Which offense do you trust more? In all honesty, it'd probably be the Steelers. So
Really?
I mean, look at the Falcons.
They've had a good run game, and they have a great offensive line in the run game.
Well, the run game, they're going by committee.
So you're
this
going
point.
to go Steelers.
I'm going to go Steelers.
Aiden, what do you got?
The Steelers are bad on the road this year. And so give me the Falcons because of that.
Ooh, okay. You don't want to put upset pick on this?
Nah, I got upset pick on a game that features way better teams than these two.
Okay. Next game up to pick is the 4-8 Packers at the 3-9 not cocaine Bears, just the regular Bears.
Well, I mean,
Who would
they
have thought
play.
this would have been a mid-off?
This is a very mid-off, but the Packers
Below
are
mid-off, actually.
The Packers are 4-point favorites on the road. 4-8 Packers at the 3-9 Bears. I'm not sure, is Justin Fields playing? This
As
isn't.
far as I'm aware, he's not.
He says, latest reports, he's on track to start, even though his shoulder is hurt.
He's not going to play at home.
He doesn't throw the football
basically,
anyways.
if he's going to.
Yeah, so he's not going to throw.
In
Which
this,
he doesn't do anyways.
Yeah.
in this mid-off, I'm going to go with the Packers because Aaron Rodgers, as he said last year, absolutely owns this city. He owns Chicago. Give me the Packers. Go ahead, Aiden.
You got to give me the Packers as well. It seems like when when Aaron Rodgers sees that Bears logo, he sees blood.
Yeah. Yeah, I
We
guess so.
actually, hopefully, in the movie we see Aaron Rodgers cameo.
Wow, that'd be
probably,
great.
He's
That'd
probably
be
needed
nuts.
at this point.
That'd be amazing. Doing
Yeah.
ayahuasca with the bear who's
with the bear.
snorting
That's the first
coke.
person I'm calling to save me if there's a cocaine bear attacking me is Aaron Rodgers.
Who do you got, Alex?
I'm going to take the Packers.
All right. And Marcos, who do you got?
Yeah, I got the Packers.
All right,
Love
so
Aaron Rodgers against the
clean-
Bears.
Also calling Leonardo DiCaprio as well.
Clean sweep right there. Next game up is actually a very interesting game for a lot of reasons. Jets 7-4 at the Vikings 9-2. The Jets under the resurgent offense of quarterback Mike White on the road against noon kickoff Kirk Cousins, where he's very good. He's very good just after church. Very great. Minnesota is a 3-point favorite at home. Do the Jets have any chance at this one? Marcos, go ahead.
I like the Vikings here. This is their time to prove that they are a real contender, and they need to do it. They really need to, I think, for their own confidence and just moving forward in playoff
The
seeding.
offense more than anything, because this is a major test. The Jets' defense is fantastic.
Yes, they have a great defense.
So you're going with Vikings, Marcos. What about you, Alex?
It's a toss-up. It really is. I've seen Mike White play whenever he fills in. Game one, he usually does good. But then the following games tends to fall off. They don't have their starting running back. The Vikings defense worries me in this matchup, but I'm going to take the Vikings.
All right, you're going to go with the Vikings. What about you, Aiden?
It's noon Kirk Cousins, and honestly, I don't know. I mean, Mike White seems like the savior for the Jets, but
Yeah.
He can at least move the ball. Like, that's something that Wilson wasn't able to do, man. I don't know what it was, but
I
did
think it's
the
gonna be a
same
good
thing
I think
filling
it's
in
gonna be
last
a
year,
good
though.
game. I think the Jets defense will keep him in it at times, but give me the Vikings.
Okay, so
This is like a James upset pick.
this is prime for my upset special right here, and I am just
You've been
itching
talking
to do
high
it.
on
just
Mike
do
White.
it. You're Mike White. You
And
love
I
Mike White.
even picked up Mike White on waivers in
You're
fantasy
not
football.
Go ahead, do it.
So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Jets as my upset special. Give me the Jets on the road,
You know
baby.
what? If you like him so much, start him.
Jets, Jets. Next,
Start Mike White. You won't.
we'll talk about that off air. Next pick'em contest, we got the Commanders at 7-5 at the Giants 7-4. The Commanders are a 2.5-point favorite on the road. The Commanders have been very, very hot as of late. They've actually won 3 in a row. They've won 6 out of their last 7. The Commanders have. I don't think people realize how hot this team has been right now. Who do we got, Alex?
I was going
This
to
is a
try
tough
and
one.
pick this as my upset, but I'm seeing one down the line that I like a little bit more. I do like the Giants in this one. Chase Young is not playing, which is a big factor, because if he was to come back, I feel like that kind of swing things in Washington's favor. I like the Giants. I think this is a game that they see Odell wants to come back, so I think they're going to play up, show that they are a contender in a way, and show that this is a place where Odell can come and possibly win a ring.
Aiden, who do you got?
Well, I want Marcus to go first.
Marcos, you go first.
This is a tough one for me. This is a really tough one. I like the Commanders team. They've shown a lot this year. It's
have.
like they've since Taylor Heineke has come under the helm, they've been a completely different football team, and I've always been a big Taylor Heineke guy. But
Former Texan.
give me the Giants. Is he really?
Yeah, he is a former Texan. You're going to take the Giants?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you gonna put an upset on it?
Is that an upset pick or no?
No. I hope I could get a good one in later, but I think.
Okay,
these guys
no
might
upset
sweep
pick
it.
right there.
coming
Aiden,
down
you're
the
up.
line.
Aiden, you're up. Is this going to be your upset pick? Giants over Commanders?
Actually, no. I saw another game that's not on our list that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So, but
But who are you going to pick?
oh man, dude,
Let's go.
give me Giants.
All right, Aiden's going Giants. I'm going to go Commanders. I think the Commanders stay hot. Give me the Commanders over the Giants. I really like that football team. I like their defense. Giants are kind of, I don't know, Jekyll and Hyde. Give me the Commanders in this one. Next game up on the docket. It's another good one. So many good games this week. We have Titans 7-4 at the Eagles 10-1. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites over the Titans in Philadelphia. Who do you got, Weister?
This game is one where both teams, their styles clash so perfectly, and it should be a very good game. But I feel like the Eagles don't have to rely on the run, and they can pivot to the pass game. And with A.J. Brown going against his former team, I think he's due for a big game, so I'll take the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, so Weister's going with the Eagles. Marcos, who do you got?
I got the Eagles as well.
All right, you're going Eagles as well. What about you, Aiden?
Give me the Eagles. I mean, they were my predicted number 1 seed. So give me the Eagles.
I like the Eagles a lot, and I think they're going to win this game, but don't be surprised if Derrick Henry runs all over their defense. One of the soft spots of the Eagles' defense is the rush defense, and they are susceptible to that.
Yeah, but I feel like the Eagles are keying more on Henry.
I can see
Yeah.
the Titans keeping this game very, very close. I don't think the Eagles blow them out.
No, I don't think either.
I think the Eagles
by a
win,
touchdown.
by a touchdown, maybe a little bit less, but I'll take the Eagles as well. I do like the Eagles in this game. Next one up, afternoon slate. Dolphins 8-3 at 49ers 7-4. 49ers are currently a 4.5-point favorite at home. Another great matchup today. So many good ones. Who do we got? Let's go to Weister.
This is my upset pick. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Uh-oh.
As much as I talk about Tua,
Yeah.
I mean, the offense that they've built around him, I cannot deny it. It is so good.
It is.
And I don't think that the 49ers secondary is going to be able to stop the short passing with the occasional deep attack. I like the Dolphins in this one.
Dolphins, that's a good pick.
It's going to be a very high-scoring game.
I'm looking at all this slate, man. So many, honest to God, this might be one of the best weekends we've had.
This Dolphins Niner game is one of the best matchups I've seen.
Easy.
Who do we
year.
got with you, Aiden?
Oh man.
Dolphins or Niners? It's a pivotal week, man. There's only
I
four
know
games
the
separated
Dolphins
between
are,
us.
I know the Dolphins are undefeated when Tua starts and finishes a game, but I think the Niners are going to establish themselves in the NFC as one of the top teams in this game. And I know McDaniel's a former assistant and whatnot. Just give me the Niners because I think overall their team has more talent than the Dolphins. I feel like the talent that the Niners have on offense will outweigh the Dolphins' defense.
Go ahead,
And
Alex.
I do have a quick update on this. Debo will play this week.
And
Ooh,
Trent
that's-
Williams.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Who do you got, Marcos, in this pivotal matchup, Dolphins and 49ers?
I really want to take the Dolphins, but I can't not pick the 49ers. You know I've been high on them all year.
You have been.
But so give me the 49ers, even though it's really hard. Also, can I go back and make the Giants my upset? Or did someone already get that?
Nobody
took it.
Nobody did. Do you
take-
want to retroactively pick the Giants as your
Yeah,
upset?
I wanted the Dolphins because I'm
Okay.
really not confident in the Niners today. But
All right, that's fine.
I since I don't have an upset,
You can have Giants as the upset. That's cool. That's cool.
I like
But
the
you're picking the
49ers.
Niners. I'm going to pick the Dolphins. I'm with Alex on this one. I love what McDaniel has done. I love how Tua plays within this offense. He doesn't, I mean, he makes big plays, but he keeps it within himself. He's not overextending. He's taking what's there. I love Tyreek. I love Waddle. I love everybody involved with this thing. Give me the Dolphins on the road. I think the Dolphins pull off this upset. We got one more to pick, and then we'll hit the break and get into Cowboys and Colts. It is the night game, or an afternoon game, I should say. Chiefs 9-2 at the Bengals 7-4. The Chiefs are 2-point favorites on the road. This is another 3:30 game. Such a great slate today, man. It's insane. I'm going to go ahead and make this pick first. I know Joe Burrow's been playing out of his mind as of late, and he has the Bengals looking good and looking prime for another run at a potential, AFC Championship game or another Super Bowl. But I really love what Mahomes has been doing these past several weeks. Dude is putting up 300-plus yards every single game. The Chiefs look like the best team in football. Give me the Chiefs on the road against the Bengals. Go ahead, Alex.
And the Bengals are not this boogeyman to the Chiefs like everybody seems to be saying. I don't know why they are saying that. Just because they beat them in the playoffs doesn't mean they're their boogeyman
Well,
now.
they also beat them in the regular season last year.
I don't think they're going to repeat that.
And for another narrative standpoint here, this is a big game for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to kill that narrative that
Yes.
the Bengals are the boogeyman. So it's a big, big game right here happening in Cincinnati.
I fully expect Travis Kelce to just walk all over this team, and I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, go ahead, Aiden.
The Bengals get Jamar Chase back.
Yes,
Yes,
he's
they
Jamar
do.
Chase has been
and
the
he will have
boogeyman.
no snap count.
Yeah, but he's been the boogeyman. This game were in Arrowhead, I probably picked the Chiefs, but since it's in Cincy, and I see the Bengals winning this game, and I have it as my upset as well.
Oh, Bengals upset special. I like it, Aiden. Okay, you got your upset special in right at the wire. Good one.
You know the Bengals defense has actually improved from last year.
It has.
as well.
Go ahead, Marcos. Get your pick in.
Notable thing in this game, Joe Mixon is still highly unlikely to play.
Yes.
Good
That
point.
is that's a tough one. I mean, P. Ryan has done a good job filling in as a good mimic, you know, to Joe Mixon. He's not as talented, but he fills this relatively the same role that Joe Mixon does.
For sure.
With that being said, I still got the Chiefs.
All right, so there we go. That's going to wrap up our pick'em. We will get into Cowboys and Colts in the next segment, so keep it locked. We'll make our picks for Cowboys versus Colts coming up here in a couple of minutes. Stick around. You're listening to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush. It's episode number 97. James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister in studio with us today. With you till 11 a.m. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll have Quinton Martinez from the Caller-Times join us via the 1440 Keys hotline. He's going to talk some Texas high school football with us. We'll break down all the weekend's matchups involving the regional finals for the local teams here. Who moved on, who didn't, who has a chance to make it to Jerry World. We'll talk all that with Quinton coming up in 15 minutes' time. 361-882-5397 is the number to get your takes into the text line, so hit us up. We still got plenty of time to get you guys in here all the way till 11 a.m. with your trusted Sunday Sports Rush crew. All right, we just did some NFL pick'em, and now it's time to dive into Cowboys versus Colts because this one's going down tonight. Sunday Night Football, 7:20 kickoff right here on News Talk KEYS with a 7:30 pregame show right here on Keys as well. Make sure you listen to Brad Sham and Babe Laufenberg and the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. We are your home of the Cowboys in the Coastal Bend. All right, it's Cowboys and Colts. Colts are 4-7-1. Cowboys are 8-3. The Cowboys, since the last time we talked, the Cowboys have won 2 games in a row. They shellacked the Vikings 40-3, and then they had a pretty big win against the Giants on Thanksgiving, 28-20, where the Giants got a touchdown late. Kind of made the score a lot closer than it was. The Cowboys dominated in the second half of that game. So the Cowboys have looked good these last 2 games, bouncing back from that loss against the Packers. Now, the Colts, on the other hand, they, of course, fired their head coach, Frank Reich, after their loss to the Patriots. Jeff Saturday comes in, gets a win against the Raiders, 25-20, but the last 2 weeks, a very close loss to the Eagles, 17-16, and then a loss to the Steelers, 24-17. So the Colts are on a 2-game losing streak. Matt Ryan will start tonight for the Colts. I think one thing that I would say in terms of the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys should win this game. They're 10.5-point favorites currently by Vegas. But if you're looking at a coaching matchup, I think it's, I don't even think I have to say it. Obviously, I think Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, and Dan Quinn are the better coaches than Jeff Saturday.
Yes.
So I think the coaching matchup favors the Cowboys.
Here's one thing I will say, though. Ever since the Colts have made this change, their interior, the line of scrimmage has been a lot better and a lot more tougher. And I feel like that's going to keep the Colts in this game. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win via a blow. I think it's going to be a tight game until the end.
Because look at the matchup that they had against the Steelers and the Eagles. Both of those teams have good run defenses, and they were able to limit Jonathan Taylor. the Cowboys have not been able to limit the run against some of these teams. I mean, look at the run games that they've had. They've been allowing some pretty big rushers.
You're right about that, but quick counterpoint. The last 2 weeks, they held Dalvin Cook to under 100. They held Saquon Barkley to 33 yards. That's in their past 2 games, so the run defense has slightly improved.
I'll give you points on that, but the Vikings one, that's a kind of a mute point because that
they
was
were
a
up so
blowout
big.
game, and he was just not going to get anything anyway.
Dalvin actually broke a big run in that game before the Vikings got really behind and they had to keep on passing.
Yeah, and you're right about that. So that's going to be a big key tonight. Can the Cowboys stop Jonathan Taylor and the Colts rushing attack? Marcos, what are your thoughts on this game tonight?
I think that they might struggle, and I think that this might be one of Jonathan Taylor's big games to where, he's such a big name, but he's struggled so much this season, and a lot of that does have to do with the play up front, and that's really struggled. And it has gotten a little bit better under Jeff Saturday, given that he's probably a Hall of Fame level offensive lineman, and that has helped. That has helped the guys up front. But I still got the Cowboys. I don't see them losing this game. Okay. I mean, I could imagine the Colts keeping it close up until halftime, maybe halfway through the third quarter. But I like, if you're expecting the Cowboys to be a legit contender this year, they're gonna have to pull away. They're gonna have to pull away at some point, and I think that they are gonna do that probably later in the game because I really imagine the Colts keeping it close for a while.
And the Colts on defense have solid players as well that could be a problem. With now his name is Shaq Leonard as well, and then DeForest Buckner on the D line.
Shaq Leonard, I think, is out for
He's
out for the season.
Yeah, he's done.
He had back surgery.
I had my Stephen A. Smith.
It's
moment.
okay. Don't worry about it. But no, they have good players.
No, but DeForest Buckner on that D line it could be a problem.
Go ahead.
I do want to say there is a reason why this game's on primetime. The schedule makers thought that the Colts were going to be better. They should have been better. This should be a good game.
Yes.
And I think that they have started to turn the tide a little bit, getting Matt Ryan under center again. I don't know why they went to Sam Ellinger. I do not think that he was ever the better option.
I think that was just a product of Frank Reich completely just
desperate.
He was just done with the season, and he just wanted to try and make something.
And they've let up the most sacks in the NFL this year, and it doesn't help that you have Matt Ryan under center.
And to your point on Jonathan Taylor, he struggled in the beginning. The past 3 weeks, he had more rushing yards than the previous 5 weeks combined.
I want to say something real quick because we're going to make some picks. Marcos just brought it up. Colts giving up the most sacks in the NFL. Yeah. Guess who has the most sacks, period, in the NFL? The Cowboys with 45. Matt Ryan is a statue back there. You barely put a finger on him, and he's falling down.
That's why they got to rely on the run game.
Give me the Cowboys tonight, and I think they cover the 10.5. I'm going to go Cowboys 34, Colts 14.
Nah, I don't see that.
I'm going to go Cowboys 34, Colts 14. I'm picking the Cowboys.
The thing that the Colts need to do...
We got to make our predictions really quick. We're about to go.
Go ahead, Alex, real quick.
I'll say that the Cowboys win. I'll give them 31, Colts 17.
Okay, 31-17. Go ahead, Aiden.
Give me the... Hold on. Actually, go Marcos.
Marcos, go ahead and make your pick.
I'm really struggling with this one. I could see it being a little tighter.
You don't have time to struggle. We got to get off.
23-17.
23-17 in favor of the Cowboys? Okay,
yes.
And what about you, Aiden?
At a similar score. Give me the Cowboys 23, Colts 16.
All right, and another quick note. Ever since Dak Prescott has returned to the Cowboys, 38.8 points per game, first in the NFL. Second in total yardage, first and third down conversions, and second in the red zone. Cooper Rush fanatics crying in their beds right now. So eat that. Eat that, Cooper Rush heads. All right, that's going to wrap up our Cowboys talk. Get your thoughts in here. Who wins tonight's game, Cowboys or Colts? 361-882-5397. But coming up next, we got Quinton Martinez of the Caller-Times to talk some Texas high school football. Keep it right here to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush. James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister sitting in with us this morning. Here with you till 11 a.m. Don't forget, it's Cowboys game day. Cowboys and Colts on Sunday Night Football tonight. 7:20 p.m. kickoff right here on Keys with 6:30 pregame also on Keys. Make sure you give us a listen to that. Your official home of the Dallas Cowboys right here in the Coastal Bend. All right, without further ado, it's time to bring on the man who covers Texas high school football and many other local sports here in Corpus Christi. It is Quinton Martinez of the Caller-Times, Corpus Christi Caller-Times own. Quinton Martinez on the line. Quinton, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, Quinton. So, of course, this past week, we had 4 teams in the regionals. We had Cow Allen, you had Flower Bluff, you had Vets Memorial, and you had Refugio. We'll start off with a couple of teams that lost their matchups. Cow Allen loses to Bernie 49-14. And me personally, and I think I can speak for everybody here in this studio, I did not expect a Bernie team to blow out Cow Allen the way they did. I mean, what happened to Cow Allen in that game, Quinton?
I know you got a chance to see, you got the chance to see Bernie earlier this year.
Yes.
Bernie might have been the best team I'd seen. Got to give credit to Veterans Memorial with the way they're playing right now. But just at the time when they took GP pretty solidly, and Ray Aikens, I thought Bernie was the most impressive team I had seen. But, when you go out and you return the open kickoff for a touchdown, I mean, that just sets a tone. And that's what Bernie did on Friday night. And, I was shocked. I mean, I think they scored 42 points in the first half. And against the Cal Allen defense, that is pretty much unheard of. But, Bernie can do it all. They're big up front. They could run the ball. They could pass the ball. And, not being able to focus on one aspect of what you need to shut down, I think that might have had an effect for Cal Allen. So it was surprising. I didn't think Cal Allen was going to win the game, but I was shocked by how many points they gave up and how easily Bernie took that game.
What's your takeaway about Cow Allen at the conclusion of their season? Of course, Steve Campbell, longtime defensive coordinator, taking over the reins for legendary head coach Phil Danaher. What are your final takeaways from Cow Allen this year? Is it status quo? It's Cow Allen is Cow Allen. Is there anything really to take away other than that Steve Campbell was able to keep this thing going?
I'll be really interested to see next year if they have the same, impetus to kind of keep passing the ball a little bit more to kind of make that offense a little more diverse, or if you're going to kind of see them revert back to what you saw forever during Danaher's tenure, that they're going to really rely on that rushing attack. Was this year a product of having a guy that could pass and run in Bryce Burnett, or is this a conscious effort that they're making to kind of try to diversify the offense a little bit more? Because, you'll always be able to count on that defense. That's never going to change as long as Campbell's there. It's just, you saw a little bit of changes, some subtle stuff this year, but Burnett kind of fit what they wanted to do. When they have a new guy behind center, is that going to change what they do? I think that'll be the biggest thing. But there's no reason to think that Callan's going away anytime soon. That's for sure.
We're here with Quinton Martinez of the Corpus Christi Caller-Times talking Texas high school football.
Hey, Alex here. Do you think that regardless of if Cal Allen was able to win, they would have faced Chapel Hill? Let's say they beat Chapel Hill and make it to states. Do you think that they would have had any shot at beating China Spring?
I would say, just based on what we saw, I think one of the things that's crazy watching Callan enough over the last 6-7 years since I've been here in the Coastal Bend is they're such a physical team, but sometimes that kind of takes their toll on Callan as well, and they're kind of banged up and nicked up. And aside from the year when they played Aledo and they really were a couple plays away from maybe winning the state title, they get banged up, and that maybe the last week of the season that they're not playing as good and it's high caliber. If they could play at the level they played against Cuero early in the season, I would give them a chance to be competitive against anybody. But saying that, obviously it's a tougher haul. You get to the Region 3 matchup is tough, and then Region 1 and Region 2 are really, really good.
Yeah.
So, I would have had a hard time thinking that Calhoun could have run the gauntlet of Bernie, then next week, and then to be able to hold up China Spring. That's three, would be ridiculous level games that they would have had to have won.
That'd be massive. Switching gears here, Quinton, Flower Bluff and Liberty Hill, that one took place up in San Antonio on Friday night at Dub Ferris Stadium. Flower Bluff falls to Liberty Hill 63-43. That triple option offense of Liberty Hill just seemed to be a little bit too much for the Hornets.
And speaking of playing at the right time, Flower Bluff, you can't, they get the one play they absolutely needed when Gregory Portland was driving to score what was likely going to be the game-winning field goal to get the one seed, to get the better playoff route, whatever you want to look at it. Flower Bluff was playing exactly the way they wanted to be. All those sophomores that are playing, that quarterback, Jaden Pelucio, they were all playing great right now, and they've really matured. They're not sophomores anymore when you get to be the 14th game of the season. And I really saw that game as one that they could go punch for punch for a long time with Liberty Hill, and you kind of saw that. But at some point, one stop is all it would have taken, and were they going to get the stop they needed against Liberty Hill, or was Liberty Hill more likely to get the stop? They got pretty fortunate. Two of their top running backs, the Liberty Hill Panthers, went out like in the first quarter of the game with some, re-aggravating some shoulder injuries, and still it was just plug and play. Liberty Hill you watch some of the highlights of that game. Just picking up yards in chunks, who has the ball, and the next thing you know, it's 60 yards downfield in the end zone. Credit to Flower Bluff in the offense because Pelucio led them, and they threw the ball like you thought. Liberty Hill is a little weak defensively, but that offense is as close to unstoppable as anything there is in Texas high school.
That sophomore quarterback Pelucio, of course, we saw him play against GPE. We've been following him all season long, being in the same district as Gregory Portland. He has to be in the running as one of the best quarterbacks going forward in this area. Would you agree with that? What I saw, he has a lot of poise. He can make plays with his legs. He has a pretty good arm. I really was impressed what I saw out of the young sophomore out of Flower Bluff.
Oh, without a doubt. Played well beyond his years. He's a guy that can make so much happen, and he's just the perfect trigger man for what Flower Bluff wants to do. Between him and Reed Dooms at Gregory Portland, that's going to be a pretty fun little battle for the next couple of years. There's two sophomores. Those are both guys that I, feel pretty strongly are going to be right in the discussion for the All South Texas Newcomer of the Year in football with the Caller-Times this year. So, the future is really bright, and just in general, both of those teams have some good young players. They're going to be coming back. So, I'm already circling the calendar next year for Gregory Portland and Flower Bluff, which will likely be again for the district title.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We're with Quinton Martinez of the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. Switching gears to a next game, Quinton. We're going to go Refugio and Shiner. You were at this one. Am I correct?
I was in San Mo.
Okay, so you were up there. Refugio comes away with a 27-21 win over Shiner, and one of the biggest moments in the game was Refugio decided to go for it on that 4th and 12 at its own 13-yard line with about 4 minutes and change to go. The stones of Jason Herring to go for that. Refugio, of course, completes it, and they pull away with the victory. What are your just impressions of the Refugio-Shiner game? It's just another classic in their storied rivalry.
It's interesting. Shiner decided, we have a Texas A&M commit on our sideline, and if we're not going to be the state champions anymore, we're going to ride that guy, and we're going to take our chances that if you can stop him, congratulations. And that worked for a good while. They were moving the chains. Dalton Brooks was just picking up chunks of yards, was one or two ankle tackles away from breaking a couple runs. But at the same time, he got nicked up. He got beat on by the Refugio defense, and more than 20 carries in the first half ended up hurting them more than they helped them. Refugio was so explosive, they get a score on a kickoff return, and they make a 4th down stop and get a one-play drive and a deep pass to their 100-meter state champion Class 2A track, Ernest Campbell.
Goodness.
And they could score so quickly, and they have such great athletes in the passing game that even though Shiner had almost all of the possession in that game, their explosiveness was a huge play, and Shiner's tactics kind of backfired on them by running Dalton Brooks so much in the first half that he really couldn't do much in the second half because he was banged up.
Yes, and I want to. I don't know if you looked into into Refugio's future opponent. They're going to play Timpson, and I've heard they have a really good quarterback named Terry Bussey. And last year they took that really good Shiner team down to the wire. What do you expect out of Refugio against that in that matchup?
I think since I've been here, there has not been a Region 3 team that has come close to what Timpson is gonna challenge. The Bobcats with this week. I really think that if it's going to happen, this would be the year. Like you said, Terry Bussey is more than likely going to be the Class 2A Player of the Year for the whole state of Texas. Dynamic dual threat guy that's responsible for 7-8 touchdowns a game. He's that guy. In the same way that they had to sell out to stop Dalton Brooks, they're going to have to do everything in their power to stop Terry Bussey. He's that guy. He's the guy that's been talked about all season long. Timpson was there last year, Shiner's team last year was one of the best Class 2A teams that's come out in a while. So for them to take them all the way to the wire last year says a lot about them, and they've had that motivation. So, will they be able to do it? Going in, I'm going to say Timpson's the favorite, for all the pedigree and for all the Region 4 dominance in winning state titles, it's going to take another spectacular game plan and Uriferio firing on all cylinders to be able to win that game next week against Timpson.
We're here with Quinton Martinez of the Caller-Times. One more game to talk about real quickly, Quinton. Let's move on to last night's battle at Buck Stadium and what was an amazing atmosphere. Veterans Memorial versus PSJA North. It was truly a slugfest. I didn't get to make it out to the game, but I did watch the stream. And, of course, Veterans comes away with a hard-fought victory, 20-14. What was it that Veterans did that just out-muscled and outmanned the PSJA North Raiders?
That's exactly right there. Physicality. That's what it came down to. Ben Bittner, the head coach of Veterans Memorial, the first thing he said when he said, how were you able to shut down their run? PSJ North has bullied and beaten and been the physical, more aggressive team all season long. And, with little resistance, they've been scoring points in bunches and they've dominated teams in the trenches. And Vets stood toe-to-toe with them. The Frere brothers, Josiah Lewis, Nick Guerrero, that defensive front was always the strength of the team. That was an area we were looking at all season long, even in the preseason, as being one of the stoutest units of any team in the Coastal Bend, and it's really played out that way. That's how they won the Edinburgh Vela game in tough conditions, and PSJ North was able to move, but they had to fight for everything they got, and the game came down to twice inside the 10-yard line. PSJA North comes away with no points. They miss a field goal twice, and then another time they get stopped on downs at the 5-yard line. And 2 plays later, Eli Durrett hits Christian Sabsuk, who had an impressive game. He makes a 92-yard touchdown grab, turns on the Jets about halfway through that, and it's 20-7 late in the fourth quarter, and it's kind of all she wrote. But, it came down to physicality and just finding a way, in finding a grit that Vets hasn't had for much of their early history as a team. For all the points that they've scored and the championships that they've won, I don't think they've been as defensive-minded and gritty as they have been the last year plus.
Yeah, Quinton, you mentioned how Ben Bittner said that the key for them was physicality. What do you think is, to simplify it a little bit, would be their key to victory against a really good College Station team this Saturday?
They're going to have to really be smart about how they play. They can't have any turnovers. They're going to have to, I think one of the things that will be something to watch next week is Jaden Castañeda. I think only had 1 carry. He was their 1,000-yard running back. They got another really good one in Luke Moya, but, he only had 1 carry in the game again, and he came out injured. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to be able to do running the ball. That includes having Eli Durrett run the ball a little bit more because he's definitely capable from his quarterback position. But again, they're going to have to try to play as defensive-minded of a game as possible because, especially when you get to the Region 3 level, there's more athletes on the other side of the field. They're used to moving up and down the field. So you're gonna try to win a defensive game, kind of slow it down again, play a game in the 20s, and hope that you can get enough from your offense to be able to win a game like that. But saying that, this isn't their first foray. They saw what it was like. They played tight against Cedar Park for 2 quarters at Alamo Stadium a couple years ago when they were there, and then they let it get away in the second half. A lot of these kids were sophomores on that team or freshman call-ups, so they know what it's like. So that experience is going to be counted on quite a bit next week. It's not the worst matchup in the world, to be able to get College Station compared to who you could have seen possibly, with maybe like a Smithson Valley. But saying that, it's still going to take by far their best game of the season to be able to make it to state.
Where will you be? Will you be at this game, or which game are you anticipating covering? Are you going to be at both games?
I know I'll be in the Alamo Dome on Saturday night covering the 5A game for sure.
Okay.
Thursday's still up in the air. It's possible that I would be in Houston as well for that one.
All righty. Well, hey, Quinton, we appreciate you joining us this morning, breaking it all down for everything here in the regional final round of the Texas State playoffs. Quinton, of course, you can follow him online, hit him up on Twitter, and follow his work at the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. Quinton, we appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem. There he goes. Quinton Martinez breaking it down. Texas high school football. Loved it. That was great.
Yeah, Quinton's awesome.
Great stuff right there from Quinton.
Great follow, like you said.
Yes. What's his Twitter right there?
At Q Martinez.
There we go. At Q Martinez on Twitter.
Just wish we had more time because, of course, I'm so much deeper into Texas high school football as I've ever been. So.
I know. I wish we did, but there we go. That was good stuff right there from Quinton. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's a sports grab bag. One more segment left with you. Keep it locked to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode 97. James Espinosa, Aiden Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister with us for this edition. Quinton Martinez was just on with us of the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. Great stuff from Quinton. We'll have his full interview podcasted after the show, so expect that this afternoon. It'll be on my social media. It'll be on at SportsRush1440's Twitter page, etc. So if you missed that live, don't fret. We'll have that uploaded as well to Spotify and to our 1440keys.com podcast page. So, yeah, good stuff right there from Quinton. We're talking some Texas high school football in between the break. And you were mentioning, Alex, it is very encouraging for vets to make it this far.
Yeah.
The second time in the past 3 years that they are in the Final Four in Class 5A D1. And we'll see what happens with College Station, but it is encouraging signs that at least there is representation from the Corpus Christi city, and Veterans is that team to do it.
And they were the higher-ranked team. PSGA North was, coming into the playoffs, ranked 8. College Station was ranked 10. So they faced the higher-ranked opponent.
That's interesting.
It's kind of a similar thing, because when you look at the College Station stats, they're kind of run-heavy as well. And they're going to try and get it going on the ground. But they do have a balanced attack. They can pass the ball as well. So it's going to be an interesting test for vets.
I love that. Look at this guy. I breaking it down.
I know you're Dave Campbell now.
DCTF,
and I know you're probably the most qualified to talk about this now, Alex. But
yeah.
I think College Station is better than PSG North just because, if I would go off of last year, College Station lost in overtime to a Paytown team that absolutely boat raced Flower Bluff. I think it might be a good game. Vets, we saw them compete with Cedar Park for a half until Cedar Park, they blew open the game afterwards.
I want to counter that because this year the playoffs have been very interesting. There have been teams making it further than they've ever made it before. We're seeing new teams make it further. Like in one game that I covered, Anna, this was the furthest they had ever made it. I believe they were 2-8 last year.
Yeah,
and then they knocked out the
Coyotes
defending
of
state champions. We're seeing unprecedented things in Texas high school football.
And look, let's just kind of put a nice little bow tie on this, right? If Veterans Memorial comes out and plays the best 48 minutes that they've played, right? And they put it together, we could be seeing them in Jerry World. They are literally one game from being in Jerry World, and I think that's an accomplishment in its own right. And I'll be rooting my ass off
for sure
for vets this weekend to take it to College Station, and hopefully we get to see these guys up in Jerry World for the state championships coming up here in about 10 days or so. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's Sports Grab Bag here. We got about 5 minutes left. I know. Go ahead, Aiden. Did you have something to add?
You see the AP poll that got released for the college football rankings? It still has TCU at 3.
Okay.
So it's not. I don't think it's going to happen, man.
Well, that's going to be announced here probably within the next 30 minutes because they're going to go on ESPN at 11 o'clock as soon as the show's over, and they're going to have their whole show where they announce all the bowl games, they announce all the playoff matchups. So probably by 11:30, for sure by noon, by 12 noon, we're going to know what happens to TCU.
Yep.
I know we had a note here about the Spurs. I guess we'll talk some Spurs. We are the Spurs station. By the way, we have Spurs basketball on today at 2:30. They play the Suns. On these airwaves at 2:30, they play the Suns. What was the Spurs note you wanted to pass along, Marcos? You've been saving this one.
We mentioned earlier in the year, we were like, oh, it seems like this team is a little disgruntled. It's a young team. They're obviously not the most talented group out there, but they're young, and they came out the season real hot. They were doing a lot of good things. And ever since the Josh Primo stuff happened, he was released on the 28th, and the allegations came out on the 29th. Since that point, they're 2-15.
Yeah, but also I think they also saw Wembanyama in their sights finally. It's like, okay, let's You know?
But that's not who this team is. That's not who the organization is. That's not who the culture he's trying to build with this young team.
I think, Marcos, that you want to believe that this ain't who they are, but this is who they are now.
I think it is who they are, but I'm saying that it is fair to look at the Josh Primo stuff, who it's easy to forget is a great young player. He had a great feel for the ball.
Well, good. I wouldn't say but he
had a lot of potential. He was 19 years old. He came in the NBA at 18.
He definitely had a great handle on things.
He was younger. He was younger than a lot of guys that we drafted this year.
The best thing the Spurs.
You missed that, Alex?
The best thing the Spurs have done this year is absolutely squash the Primo stuff. With that.
Yes,
that's the best defense they've played all year.
Yeah, they
sure.
absolutely, whatever they had to do, they completely got rid of that story.
Definitely the best defense they've played all year. They swatted that one out of the arena real quick. But yeah, the Spurs are struggling. They've lost 15 out of their last 16 games. They've lost 10 in a row. And they got the Suns today. And I don't know if they're going to win this game, so we'll see what happens with that.
But I do want to say Kelton Johnson has had a great year so far. He looked like
shout out to KJ.
DeJounte Murray a couple years ago when he finally had his coming out party, Yeah. And he was averaging 20 points and everything, and he was just like having a great year. So far, he's averaging 25 and 3. That's a pretty good year.
That is pretty good.
And he's very efficient from the 3-point line.
Another note for the Spurs, and then I'll switch to just real quickly a topic I wanted to ask you guys. The Spurs are officially in the bottom 3 of the NBA.
Yeah.
Record-wise.
Yes.
Bottom 3. We're where we want to be. Let's go.
Yeah, there's that 7'3" French dude.
Let's go. One other note to get to here real quickly. Did y'all guys see Brian Robinson and his big hat?
Yes.
Oh, the big hat trend.
Is this big hat thing really going to happen?
I think it's a joke. It already has.
Josh Allen was wearing one.
But are we going to see people on TikTok or on Instagram posting themselves in the club with a big hat? Like they're going to go out with the big hat.
100%. But I don't think it'll get on the streets. I don't think you're going to see people at the mall wearing a big hat.
Whenever somebody says bull crap and you say, that's big cap, we got it now.
Now we really do have a big hat.
Hey, shout out Brian Robertson, though, for putting over his boy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Interview.
And now everybody has a big hat.
Yeah, at least in the sports world.
Would you wear a big hat?
Yeah. I would.
I would.
I feel like
I would wear a big hat. Hell yeah. I would definitely wear a big hat. So there we go.
I would wear a big hat just because I feel like my takes are superior on the show.
Sure.
Okay, big brain.
All right, inflated.
Well, I'm gonna need a big hat if y'all feel I'm inflated. Am I right?
It's cool. It's all good. I was just saying. But hey, this was fun, Alex. So happy that you surprised us this morning, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. It was great talking, great
I
catching
love being
up.
here, man.
Good to see Alex. Marcos, an excellent job once again.
Appreciate it.
Aiden, you did pretty well back there.
I'm just glad we actually did a live show.
I know. Felt
It's
good to
been
be live.
too long.
Felt good to be live. We'll be live again next week. We're going to be live all the way until our Christmas show. Christmas show is when we'll have another pre-recorded special for you guys. So we'll be live for the next 3 weeks leading up into Christmas, leading up into the countdown for 100. So we appreciate all of y'all listening this morning. Shout out to Quinton for being on the line of the Caller-Times. Quinton Martinez, thank you so much. And for everybody here, Aiden Ducker, Alex Weister, Marcos Marroquin, I am James Espinosa. No more questions. We'll talk to you next week.